All right, so we had like the player on the left, and then the enemy spawned on the right, right? And I think it was when I was messing around with the idea of like a shield. Well, there's only one place you probably want to put the shield because the enemies are coming from one direction. But there's this game I got to stream as well too. Like one day I got to share this game I used to play in college, and the enemies only came from the right, and the player was only on the left. But boy, was it fun because you basically had blocks, and you would stack the blocks. And there were I think like 3 or 4 different types of blocks. So one of them was a shield type block, and if you stack 3 of them at the same time, they would combine and be like a level 2 shield, which is harder to break. And then you had another type, which was I don't know, like a plasma beam. And if you stack 2 of those, it would shoot it would basically shoot within a certain radius distance, and it only have like a certain attack power. But then if you stack 3 of them together, they would form like a level 2, and level 2 looked cooler. It just looked cooler, and the beam looked cooler as well too. And the range was probably a little bit more covered a little bit more range as well too. But the way you got the blocks was at the very top here. Why am I even talking about this? Hold on, I'll tie it back I think at some point. But the blocks would come here, would generate in random order. So you got to figure out. Yeah, it's kind of like Tetris, I guess. But it was really fun, and the enemies only came from the right, and it was a ton. And they had I think a mine, like this block that shot out mines, floor mines every 3 to 5 seconds or something like that. And the mines got bigger and stronger, more cooler as well. So there was a missile one. Anyways, it was a blast. So this could still be a fun game, I think, even if it were player on the left and then the enemies on the right. But I felt like if you had more of a central layout like this, where the player spawned in the middle and the enemies came from both sides, you could do more interesting things with shield, for example. You can have more variations, I feel like, and probably have a greater sense of danger. And how do I get out of this predicament? Who do I target? And as you can see, I scale the players and the enemies and the creatures down so that we can fit more into the screen. And maybe it just keeps doing that. And maybe it just keeps, maybe the bigger the match, maybe the smaller or the bigger, let's just say, the bigger the stage, if you will, becomes, so you can include more things. So this is how I'm thinking about it right now. I don't think this is a big change. This is like quite literally in terms of like how default is working. It's just putting the player in the center, and the enemies are already targeting the player as well too. So no big change, just a design change here. And then I feel like I have an idea of an icon, a better idea. Before it was some weird abstract icon, but maybe a lightning, like as in you're getting energy or stamina. It could also be a book because you're forming words. But I think something like this will work. And I've already covered this. Anything else? Yeah, here's an example of a maybe chain lightning, chain beam, or maybe gestures. You click on 3 places that you want to target. Here's an example of like summoning an assistive creature or bot. So this is an example of a robot. And I feel like this would be helpful as well too. I don't think logic-wise this is going to be very different from this blast right here. It would just be spawning another game object that would target any enemies or the nearest enemy, let's say, and just attack them using projectiles. Is there anything else that I wanted to talk about? There is, but I'll save it for probably the next video. And that's this idea of like, I'll save it for the next one. All right, cheers. That's all. That's all for this one.